And if I got to change that, but my competition is probably part of that 95%. Is that an opportunity for me to differentiate myself in the market? Yes. I would run after that position because I would look at my competition, do a SWOT analysis of their CSR, see if they're failing as well, and if they are, I'm going after them. I'm going to beat them on that. I am. I may be a nice guy, but when it comes to business, I don't lose a customer. Don't mistake this kindness, because when I'm in business, I'm about my customers. I will not lose them, and I will gain them. I would look at this as an opportunity. There's an average that is being spent across companies that's $50, $100 million, and some companies are spending on the CSR program, and they're not getting the return on their investment. The problem companies facing is that consumers do not know what the companies are doing in citizenship, governments, and the workplace. 56% said are neutral, not sure if the companies can be trusted to deliver on their dimensions. More than half feel you're not trustworthy. That's a scary number. The two words that I live by is transparency and trust, and that's a problem. The reason is twofold. The companies have not communicated things they do in a relevant and clear manner. You're not telling your story the right way. When I did the Good Neighbor program, I was a crazy person when it came to talking about that. I wanted to make sure, because I wanted to get that $1 million a year from all those brands, so I made sure I communicated it effectively, not only to them, but to all the consumers that shopped in our stores. They knew about the Good Neighbor program. You might be doing too many programs. I just talked to a couple of companies in Sri Lanka, and one of them is across such a wide spectrum in their CSR that they're good at them, but they're not great at any one of them. They're good. Don't get me wrong, they're not failing. But there's not one that I could say you're best of class, that you're really great at it. What are the issues? Well, corporate profits. Here's an interesting number, and this is global. Look at where salaries have gone, look where GDP is, but look at the position of corporate profits right now. How do you think the average consumer thinks about corporations and all the money we're making? Not too good, right? They say, wow, big disparity in income. Our incomes are not going up, bottom lines are going up tremendously. Okay. It's not what you think. I know it's going to be difficult for you to see in the back, so let me explain this. In 2008, when we had the big disaster financially, right? Started, by the way, on the day I got married. I am serious. Okay, on September 14th, 2008, I got married in Central Park. It's on a Sunday. My wife is in the financial business. Guess who's attending our weddings? Everybody from Merrill, everybody from all the banks, Goldman, everybody's getting tax. Lehman's going down. Well, that's another story. But we still had a great party. It was even a better reason to drink. But in 2008, low trust in businesses and CEOs, because it affected so many people. So the level of trust in businesses in 2008 and 2009 bottomed out. We got the call from the government for more regulation, so make sure this never happens again in the banking industry. Too big to fail. So the government responds into this sector. Now, all of a sudden, we're at 2012. We got a dwindling amount of trust in our government. They're screwing up. Globally. We have problems in Greece, European Union, China, United States. Look at this. Business leaders are more trusted than government leaders. Business has an advantage in 24 out of the 25 markets. So even though we have this right now, don't be greedy. This is your opportunity to use some of those corporate profits to expand what? Trust with the consumer. Don't be greedy. This is a great opportunity right now because everybody feels that business has the flexibility and the speed to make change much faster than what the government can, right? If you have an organized CSR program is important. Global connectivity. We are all connected. Everybody here has a smartphone. No texting while I'm talking. Okay, everybody has a smartphone. Well, your smartphone is global. Just understand that. The power of that phone is global. So today, we can find out that something went well, something went wrong. It goes viral immediately. Changing demographics. India, over 70% of your population is under 35. That's also the case in Africa. It keeps on growing. So we have a much younger demographic that's out there today who is understanding your CSR program. What does that mean? 87% of millennial employees donated to a nonprofit. They have a social conscience. Latica will tell you that we have, when we do the Venture for All program, whether it's with pre-college or college, I just did one with an executive program in Tokyo. Half the class were working on an NGO program for their new venture. How many do we have that the kids here? I guarantee you there's going to be at least 3 or 4 this next session of pre-college kids here in India that want to do something socially because they see it around them. They have more of a conscience.
Now it is mandatory 2 months training. All the MBA students, they must spend 2 months in the NGO sector.
Absolutely. That's a very good point.
Training the future managers to be conscious about it.
Right. And does that pay off for you as a company? I'll tell you why. Look at this. Next-gen employees, a recent study said 44% of young professionals, they said they will not go to work for you if you don't have a good reputation. So you may not get the talent to come to work for you. The talent is your future, people. If you want to get the smart people, my wife works for Morgan Stanley until we moved to Raleigh. She runs the analyst program. So she goes to Harvard, she goes to Cornell, she goes to Yale. She doesn't, but she has her people go there to recruit what? The best of the best to come to work for Morgan Stanley. So if Morgan Stanley does not have a good reputation when it comes to CSR, half of them are saying, no way, I'm going to Goldman. All right, because they got the 10,000 women program in the workplace, right? So this is the real thing. Now, that's right. Here's another one. If you're a publicly held company and you invest more in your CSR program, sure. If you invest in your CSR program, guess what happens? Your stock value goes up. Investors say, wow, what's going on with this company? So it's been proven that there's a positive investor reaction when you move your level of CSR contribution up. You become more valuable company. And guess what? There's nothing wrong with that. Profit is a good word. Trust and honesty, transparency and honesty equal trust. 47% trust business individuals for these reasons. Look at, you want to increase your trust? Everything in green here, and I know you can't read it, but you're going to be able to download this. Everything is green, is social. So you want more trust with your associates, with your customers, with your stakeholders? You get to be more green. CSR used to be viewed as a compliance with laws and regulations set by the government, the public sector. Obviously, that's the case in India with the 2% right, program. United States, it's not. In other countries, it's not. Here, it is. But it shouldn't be the one reason you're doing it.
It has become mandatory now.
Yeah.
Earlier, people
Yep. But now it's changed. So in the United States, it's not mandatory whatsoever. Not whatsoever. So the reasons that you're going to do it, you had a lot of red tape when you're dealing with the government. In fact, I just read something in the paper this morning that the amount of money that's coming into NGOs from foreign investment, they're going to regulate it now. I guess you had an issue with Greenpeace and some others. Is that right? So, okay, so that's more regulation. Okay, it could be a good thing, but it also could be a bad thing because now you're stopping outflow to the people who really need that money. Today, a surprising number of companies regard corporate social programs as a platform for growth. over 2/3 of the business leaders surveyed by IBM in this study are focusing on CSR to create new revenue opportunities. There, I said it again, profits. That's what CSR is becoming integrated into their company. What you're doing is you're taking your best practices, your CSR program, you're going to integrate it into your sales model to grow your revenue. Even if you're a B2B. We were talking this morning, right, about being a B2B. I was talking to a B&B in Sri Lanka. They produce clothing for Patagonia. Now, Patagonia is a very respected company, right? Everybody, they're just think as a green company, very conscious about the environment and people. So Patagonia comes to them and says, listen, you're doing some great things over here. If you do this and this, we can create this. And I asked the person, I said, so Patagonia came to you with that idea? And they said, yeah. And I said, you're going to be able to do it, right? He says, oh, yeah, no problem. I said, why didn't you go to Patagonia and say that? Why was it their idea and not your idea? And he just looked at me and he says, you're right, Dan. I said, that's marketing. That's marketing. It's taking one of your assets that you're doing. You're spending a lot of money in CSR, but you didn't really know that that could be used to grow business with Patagonia or another company, whoever it could be. Over half believe that their company's CSR activities are already giving them an advantage over their competition, without a doubt. You recognize these three companies? I love Emirates. Latika knows. When I come over here, I say, Latika, Emirates. Okay? Everybody knows Dilma, right? Everybody knows Colgate. Do they compete with each other? No. They're in different business verticals, correct? Completely. Now, I just flew over on Sunday, and I flew on Emirates, and I love Emirates. And one of the things that I do with Emirates is they have the Airline Foundation, which they support children. So every time I fly in to India, any USA money that I have, I put it in that envelope. Sometimes it's been only $2, sometimes it's been $120. Whatever I have goes in. Now, when I go home and I take whatever I have in rupees, it goes in the envelope on the way home. So that's just my way. I already told you about Colgate, Bright Smiles and Bright Futures, right? What they're doing with children to try to make them, their dental, giving them checkups, giving them opportunities to brush their teeth. And Dilma has a nonprofit set up, a charitable foundation, that they also work not only with the environment, but they also work with children in education. How did these three connect? You want to know how? I had an aha moment when I went in. I get to go fly in the lounge, go into the lounge in Dubai. So I go up to get something to eat and to drink. I want a cup of tea. Whose tea is in the lounge? Okay. I go to the bathroom, need to brush the teeth. What do they have inside the kit? Thank you. So they share customers. The customer archetype that we teach, they share the same customer. Now, do you think that Emirates knows about Colgate's Bright Smiles program? Yes. Do you think Emirates knows about the MGF Charitable Foundation? Yes. Do you think that any other Colgate or any other tea company is going to be able to go to Emirates and say, get rid of those two, use mine? It's not about price. It's about relationship. So, did Colgate and Dilmah increase their sales because of their CSR with Emirates? I bet you they have good salespeople. It would be part of it. She says, you're the perfect customer for us. We were talking this morning about saying no to bad customers. And I'm like, you want to be able to put on your website who your customers are, and you have Emirates on it. It's a great brand. In fact, the United States, Emirates is taking over international travel. And Delta and American, they're all crying because they're doing my business away. Well, you know what the chairman of Emirates said? Just give good service. That's all you got to do. And that's right. So no American, no Delta. Okay. Now, it's a very, listen, I got to tell you people, that's the point I'm trying to make about your CSR program. You are doing some really good things. How do you package that and be able to increase your business by being able to tell people this is part of your culture. This is part of your company. It separates you from your competition. So today, what are the common enablers? These are all the different people that are involved in your CSR. It's your shareholders, it's the civil society, it's your customers, your business partners, that you're getting raw materials, the NGOs you're supporting, the local communities that are coming to the NGO. These are all your different shareholders. So, indicators that you need to have foresight. You need to have objectives by your management. We're going to get into this a little bit more. And you got to have good governance, just like you would with any other of your business assets. And increasingly seen as an investment deal maker and breaker. Boy, we already saw that. If you're investing